sponsored by Dow Infinity.
Welcome to Thinking Tackle. We're still at Sky Lake in France. We've got rid of Adam and Damo, and now we've got Tom and James fishing. They've moved straight into Adam's swim. You remember he beat them up in here in the last show, and Tom is showing us the way. Hello, mate.
How's it going?
All right. Not as good as it is for you by the look of it.
No, actually. It does feel very nice.
Does it?
Yeah. It's the biggest one I've felt so far. But there's a lot of weed around, so it could be covered in weed, which is giving it the weight.
I think you've caught enough to know when it's a big one, Tom. What we're going to do in this show is look at Tom's rigs. We're going to look at James' rigs as well, because they do little different things to how I fish and how Adam fish, how Damo fishes, and you can add all of that to your fishing. We're going to talk bait as well. We're going to interview Andy that runs the lake and see how he fishes the place, because he's mega successful too, just to give you as much information as possible how to catch as many fish as possible on these kind of venues. It's worth pointing out that Tom's had 11 bites already. This is the 12th fish or 12th bite. He's dropped a couple, but he's had them up to 36 pounds, and his style of fishing suits this area perfectly. We've got that information that Adam gave us from last week. Obviously I was here seeing what was happening, and Tom's taken full advantage of that and started his week's fishing completely different to how most people would normally start a week's fishing on these venues. So we're going to look at those sort of tactics in a little while.
A little one, eh?
Mate, the little ones are 35 pounds.
I know.
Come to Papa, come on. Come on, Pascal.
Come on. Hey.
Beautiful, get in.
He's a nice one, actually.
He is.
Slacking off, leave me in there for a second.
The Dove is on fire. Well done, son, how big's that?
37.6 this one.
37.6, what a stunning, stunning carp. Let's get on with location. Well, I've chosen to stay in the same swim because I've got the luxury of having been here last week and seen how the lake was living and breathing, seen where the fish were getting caught from. I'm going to use that to my advantage. I've resisted the temptation to move down to the woods end where Adam smashed it up last week. I think he had 28 fish in the end, mainly because a lot of the small fish were getting caught down there, and also I managed to snare a 51 pounder, an absolutely stunning fish, a couple of days ago. I followed it up with a 36 later on during the night. Then last night I had a 32 just as it was getting dark. I've had a 33 pounder this morning and lost one. So that's the end of the week, as it were. It's now Saturday afternoon, we're starting all over again, so I'm just going to keep working the spots that I've been fishing. So I've moved further out on my left-hand set of rods. I'm fishing about 80 yards out, and I'm sticking out bigger boilies. I've got the Fusion with me now because Tom's brought it over for me. And then the right-hand spot, I'm only fishing at about 60, 70 yards and casting down diagonally towards the snags a little bit, and I'm picking fish up as they come through there. I think the reason particles didn't work for me on the first week was I wasn't fishing for a whole week. I was fishing 6 one-night sessions. I didn't put enough bait in at the start. That's what Andy does. He puts a lot in over every rod and just leaves it until the big fish come along. And he has caught quite a few big fish on it. So we're going to have a look at that approach a little bit later on. But for now, I'm going to stick with what I'm doing. The boilies is working. The guys have started to get bites over there. So let's go and talk to them and see where they're fishing. We're over on the wood side of the lake now. Absolutely beautiful view from here, and the two little superstars, Tom and James, are both bivvied up here in the place where Adam was fishing in the last show. So I'm going to probe them now and find out where they're fishing and what they've caught. Thomas?
Hello mate, how's it going?
All right mate, thank you. Ooh, lots of goodness. Is that going out?
It is, I'm just about to pitch my right hand
Right,
rod.
that's your right hand rod, is it? Right, well talk us through first of all then, where's the other two?
Right, I've got them spread out because I've got a bit of room down this corner. I didn't want to put 3 rods on one area just so it's an obvious sort of fishing area for the fish to scare away from in the end, I suppose.
Yeah.
I've got one sort of round that tree in the middle of that bay.
Right.
One over towards that corner there.
Yeah.
And then one straight out in front where Adam was catching them from.
Right, so you've got one close to where Damien was fishing.
Yep.
One where Adam was snaring the odd one from.
Yep.
Over there, and then one sort of out on his main sort of
That's
area.
it, yeah.
And what rod so far has produced the most action?
It's been the middle rod over towards the corner, which is where Damo was fishing, I think.
Towards Damo. He's really going to need to know that, Damo,
Yeah,
aren't
I've
he?
told him already, don't you worry about that.
And baiting wise, what are you putting out?
Just boilies, I'm just spreading boilies everywhere.
Right.
Just putting them, not in one particular area, just spreading them everywhere so they don't know.
And that's pretty much a Tom Dove sort of way of fishing, isn't it?
It is, yeah, that's the only way I fish now.
Right, no marker float?
No marker
No
float
spod?
at all, no.
Nothing. Even if you didn't know that Adam had done what he'd done,
Yeah.
you'd still fish like this?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Even though everyone says you can only fish particles?
Yeah, definitely.
You'd still do it?
Yeah, they're all carp, aren't they? They all eat boilies, so just fish it the same everywhere. So.
All right, mate, well, you get that one out,
Okay.
and I'm going to go and see how James is getting on. Right, Jimbo?
Hello mate, you alright?
Yeah, good mate, thank you.
Good, good.
Ooh, is that what you're getting when you wind in?
And yeah, after every cast.
Right, okay. Or on all 3 rods?
On all 3 rods, yeah. It's,
Right.
all it is like a little layer of carpet really.
Yeah.
It's nothing to worry about at all.
No, no. So where are you putting them then? I guess you've got one on the same bit as Tom out there, are you?
Yeah, I mean, having received copious amounts of texts from Adam Penning last week while we were enjoying ourselves at
Yeah.
Gigantica, it seemed like I'd be a bit foolish really to look over it.
Yeah. That's
so-
about 80 yards, isn't it, that one?
Yeah, there's one at about 80 to 90 yards. Then I've placed my middle rod slightly shorter, about 60 to 70 yards. The odd boilie splitting, so I thought there might
They
be
go
the
off in a weird direction at times as well,
exactly, exactly. You can't be mega accurate like you can with a spod,
don't they? No, no.
but we're not trying to achieve that anyway.
No,
so,
absolutely, absolutely.
and then finally the third rod's in the lovely sheltered corner.
Yeah, that looks sexy in there, doesn't it? That looks like it's going to produce a big one.
Yeah, it does. I mean, most people that come here would automatically cast into the middle, wouldn't they?
Yes,
Um,
especially with the amount of room we're fortunate to have this time. So, yeah, fair play. All bases covered, mate. Well, I'll let you crack on.
Okay.
I'm going to go and get my rods out again because it looks good for another bite.
yeah, no
Right, mate,
problem.
I'll catch you later.
Cheers, Dad.
And what about that for getting the bait in right? Half a tail he's called, 52.5 pounds. My biggest one of the session so far. Absolutely over the moon to get this one. He fought like a demon, kept rubbing himself on the bottom trying to get rid of the hook, but we snared him. So once I get this fella back, we're going to have a look at how I bait up. I'm going to get this rod out again as quickly and stealthily as humanly possible, so I've got the throwing stick and the baits with me. Beautiful. Just feel the lead down. Donk. Right, that's on hard bottom. Put the rod straight down. reach for my stick and I'm using the circles of that splash as a target. So when I'm baiting up after a bite, I'm just skimming the baits along the surface. Just trying to make as little splash as humanly possible to get the fish to come in and feed again as quickly as possible. And what a lot of people will do, they'll cast the marker float out, they'll drag that round the swim, then they'll put the rod out, miscast it a couple of times and scare any fish away that are there and then bait up. And that's when you can wait until the same time the next day for another bite. So by doing it this way, minimum disturbance, you're just spraying these baits across the surface to hopefully bait up so the fish don't even know you're there. And after getting a fish during the day, I'd probably put, I don't know, 50 to 100 extra baits out, which is totally different from how I bait up when I'm actually starting a session. I'll actually try and make noise. If there's not fish in the area, I'll put the baits out 5 or 6 at a time. I'll put them up in the air and try and make that thudding sound as they hit the surface to actually draw the fish into the area. And by putting 6 baits out at once, if you can get them far enough, you're baiting up 6 times as fast as a guy that's putting them out 1 at a time. So 2 different styles of baiting to suit 2 different situations, and probably got just about enough out there now. If you find the baits are splitting when they're coming out of the stick, if you wet the end of the stick, it will reduce the backspin on the baits and stop them splitting. They won't go as far, but if you can get them out there with wetting the stick, you have to do it probably every half a dozen strokes. And with these curved sticks, you basically start off with your weight on your back foot and transfer it through. It's almost like a cast. So that's just about enough bait out there now. Let's get that rod sorted. Well, this has been an epic battle, and it is one of the real big ones. I know I've had some big fish on this, but this is one of the real big ones. I talked about getting the bait out stealthily, and this was the rod that I recast, and it is a monster. Oh, look at the size of this. This is one of the beasties, and he's going in the net. Come on! Yes! Excellent! Yes! Oh, that is one of the real big ones. I can't believe it. How about that for proof of the pudding? The U-fish, 45 pounds 8 ounces, not one of the 18 that I thought it was, but my God, did it fight. Oh, so chuffed with this one, and hopefully that convinces you to bait up stealthily.